Welcome to Zoom In, Zoom Out, your global look at news from Taiwan. I'm Rik Glauert. The last Saturday in every October is Taipei's LGBTQ Pride March. And every year for the past decade, Taipei Pride has been joined by a disability rights NGO called Hand Angel. The name alludes to the sexual services that some of their volunteers provide. But who are the Hand Angels, and what are their messages to Taiwanese society? Today, to further discuss disability rights, we're joined by long-time Hand Angel volunteer Jing Lee. Jing, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here.
So my first question is really simple. Just what is a Hand Angel?
So what Hand Angel do, what we do is to promote sexual rights for people with disabilities. Yeah, so basically we offer sexual service to those people who need that. Yeah.
And what sort of services, what does that involve? And where does it take place? What do you do?
So usually we offer a hand job, but if both parties agree to more, then we also allow for more. So we try to make an equal agreement for both parties. Say like the applicants, if they want more like any kind of sex, then actually they can ask a sex volunteer. And if the sex volunteer also agree to that, they can do more. But what we offer at least is the hand job.
Actual sex work is illegal in Taiwan, but what you're doing is volunteering. How is this different from sex work?
So the main difference between us and sex work is that we don't get paid. We do everything purely for pro bono, so nothing's paid. So it's really, we need to be cautious whenever we go out to do service. For example, after a service, sometimes the applicant, the person who received the sex service, will want to offer sex volunteer a cup of water, but we can't take that because it can be considered a kind of sex work. So we have to be really cautious about it.
And where does the need for this service arise from? You know, the people you work with, the people you volunteer to help, what sort of situations are they in that they require the help of a Hand Angel?
So the thing is, for many like able people like us, it's very easy for us to imagine to masturbate every day or every week. But for those people, like people with disabilities, they like say the muscles, they are different. So sometimes it's very difficult or even impossible for them to reach their penis like in their entire life. So for these people, they can never experience the orgasm or the pleasure of sex. So what we need to do is to offer sex to those people to let them feel like, okay, they are having some kind of pleasure from sex. And why their situation is quite difficult because a lot of people like in the society won't really date those people because of all the discrimination and also all the bias. People believe that disabled people are unable to do many things. Or whenever they want to go for a date, for example, like when we are going for a date, it's very easy for us to go to a cinema, but it's very difficult for people in wheelchair to go to a cinema. Yeah.
And is there a lot of demand?
Yes. So now if you're a heterosexual man, you want to apply for a female sex volunteer, you need to wait at least 2 to 3 years. Yeah.
For one
service. Yeah, you can be right, yeah.
And then you might have to wait another 2 or 3 years to have another.
Yes, because we are short of staff, as you can imagine. It's not really something that, I just want to do that, I want to volunteer to do that. It's quite much a taboo for people to volunteer to do such a thing. And also it's a huge demand from the public. So yeah, we're still working on that.
Yeah, well, I wanted to ask you that. What made you start to get involved with Hand Angel? Why did you want to do this volunteering?
So it's like almost 10 years ago, I first of all, the Hand Angel group, they came to my university to give a talk. And back then I was very impressed by their talk because they were talking about like different body, the same desire. And I'm always not the mainstream type of body. I'm more like a obese in Taiwanese society. So back then it really, the connection between disabled body and also my body, it started to bridge a connection there. So I feel so touched, and also I want to do something for people like us, like them. I want to support each other to have a better society. So it really, I'm not only helping Hand Angel. on the other way, they're also helping me to understand my body and also to help me to accept my own body. Also, for me personally, because I am a sex coach, so I'm also learning from this kind of experience. Like also for different people, how should I conduct sexual behavior? How should I please them better? So it's on the other way, it's also helping my own career, because whenever I'm helping different bodies, it also helped me to rethink about, okay, so for different bodies, different desires, how should I do better for these things? Yeah.
So from working with people that have different bodies, are differently able, disabled, what has it taught you about sex and intimacy?
One thing that's very important, I always joke about with my friend, is that please don't make sex as penis-centric. Because a lot of people, when they think about sex, it's all about like here, but it shouldn't be like that, because sex is like so diverse. It can be like touching, caressing, or just kissing or cuddling. It can be all kind of sex. So what I try to do is to widen up and also to make it more diverse. Especially a lot of disabled people, they don't feel much for their penis. So we need to find other ways to please them, like for example, like caressing their ears, or like kissing their mouth or kissing their cheeks, to try to find other ways to please them. Yeah, so that's what I learned.
You mentioned that demand is high, so how often can a disabled person access your service?
So for every applicant, they can apply for 3 times in their whole life. Yeah, only 3 times. And we are asked often, like, why only 3 times? Like, people need more sex. We understand, but the reason why we make it 3 times is that when it comes to the end, we, Hand Angel, we are not a service group. Our main goal is to make society better, and we don't offer service to it. What we do is we want to advocate. We want to educate the society. So we are an activist group, not a service group. So the 3 times reason is we want the person to feel, or to get to taste the pleasure of sex, and then they want more, right? And once they want more, they want to do more. So we invite them to join us to do the advocate together, to be activists together. And in reality, it works. So many people who already receive our service, afterward, they come to join Hand Angel because they find that this is important for disabled people. They come to us and help us arrange rallies, or help us to write articles to educate the society.
We're going to zoom out now and look at the bigger issues. My first question for you is sex a human right?
Yes, totally. But I find very interesting because there's a movement called incel, right? Like involuntary celibate. And the main difference between us and then why we call sexual right as a human right, and they also believe the same thing. But the thing is, incels usually believe that, it's woman's fault that they can offer sex or they cannot offer intimacy to those men. But to us, the main issue is the social structure or the society. Like why disabled people can't have sex, it's because of they can't go on a proper date because of the location is very much unfriendly to those people. They just can't access to those locations, or they cannot go to motels because they have steps in front of the door. So because of this barrier, so keep people with disabilities out of getting sexual pleasure. And also it leads to us that sometimes people would argue with us that, like incels, they will say that, I can't have sex, like why don't Hand Angel like also helping us? But to me, it's absurd because we never say we don't want to. If you want, you can be part of it, and we can create a better society. If you believe that's your rights, you want that, then let's go for it together. Let's go on street. We want those people, like so-called incels, to work with us. Like let's work for a better society. Yeah.
That's quite a strong message, that sex is a human right and that everyone should be able to have access to sex and have a frank and open conversation about sexual needs and desires. How hard is that conversation in Taiwan society?
A lot of people still don't understand why the government doesn't say that people with disabilities are not allowed to have sex. Of course the government doesn't say that, but so people are struggling to understand that why we need to offer so-called extra work for those people. It's still quite much a taboo, because it's still people really don't really talk about that, and people are very shy when it comes to this topic. But over the years, right now, I also see that there are some changes. So I think the society is still in general making progress, but slowly.
And we've talked about the intersection of quite a few different rights here: disability rights, the right to have sex, and also you've been marching with the LGBT Pride Parade in Taipei this week. How does your mission as Hand Angels relate or coincide with LGBTQ rights?
LGBT movement should be inclusive and should be diverse. So what we Hand Angel try to do is to show different people, especially our people, LGBT people, that we exist. That it's not just about able-bodied, able gay people, able LGBTs. We are part of it. If in your life you don't really have people, like you don't have friends in wheelchair, you probably just don't think about that. Or if you never hear any story from or perspective from those people, you wouldn't think about that. So it's very important for Hand Angel to just tell our story to people, to make them think about that people like us exist. And whenever people are advocating for a better society, please also think about us.
Have you had much interaction with the government, and what are they doing to help the sexual needs, sexual rights of people with disabilities?
It's very complex because again, it's a taboo thing. So the government doesn't really want to do that, because once they do that, they might lose their vote. And also, it's about long-term care, because a lot of disabled people, they really need daycare service, and it comes down to, okay, if the caretakers, if they don't dare to offer sexual service, or they don't dare to assist any kind of sexual assistance, then it's very difficult. But again, we don't blame those caretakers, because they are part of us. We want us to move on together. So what we try to do is to do more sex education, for example, to break the taboo of sex, to make people feel comfortable assisting people having sex, for example.
What's the big dream for Hand Angel? What's the world, the society you want to see when it comes to these issues?
For disabled people, just live like everyone else. Everyone deserves sex, and good sex, I mean. So for Hand Angel, what we want is that we are not asking much. We just want to live like everyone else in the whole world, in society. It's actually kind of funny, because sometimes people like us, we can really imagine like how sex can empower us. But to them, like for example, I've been to some services, and many of them, because they are disabled, like they are in wheelchair all their life, so they don't really want to go out of their home, or they don't really have the chance. They just don't feel like doing that. But after receiving our service, they start to feel like, the world is kind of nice, and they want to date more people. They want to date girls like me, for example. Or they would ask me out. Like they would ask me, after this service, can we still hang out more? To me, it's very empowering, because it means that they are willing to step out of their home. They want to do more. They want to see the world. So this is empowerment. Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us today. It was great to hear all your insights.
Thank you. Thank you.
This has been Zoom In, Zoom Out. For more stories from Taiwan, you can check out TaiwanPlus News website or follow us on social media. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you next time.